Hello there guys, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. Today I'm going to be doing another, why is it always so, it's always wrong. As soon as I click the button, it's like, oh, it looks wrong. Okay, this is going to be another unedited video. I'm going to be showing you all of the Kindle books that I have, like, on my Kindle, but specifically I wanted to point out the things that I got from Project Gutenberg over the years. So it's kind of like a digital book haul of like everything, but specifically Project Gutenberg. So I'm just gonna open up my content and devices here on Amazon and look through all of the books, and I'm gonna record this. I'm gonna like screen record it and put that into the video for you so that you can see what I'm looking at, and I'll put it here along the side. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so we can see here I have some books that are clearly not from Project Gutenberg to start with. So I won't talk too much about those things, but okay, so here we have The Possessed. This is a recent acquisition of mine, acquired on August 30th. I also picked up Orlando Furioso because Tom from LA Books is doing a read-along of this, and I really want to read it with him. Like, he does such cool deep dives, and I just really would love to do that, but I just haven't had the time yet. So, what else do we have? Lots of things, lots of things. Okay, we made it through page 1. Oh my gosh, well, there are really 20 pages. This is gonna take a while, isn't it? Come on. Okay, next page. So clearly, all of these things are things that I borrow from the library for the most part. Once in a while, I will buy ebooks, but it just doesn't happen very much. I don't browse Kindle deals very much. Mainly, when I buy books, it's usually like thrift stores, but even that I don't get to do too much because shopping is just really hard for my body. So I just don't buy that many books. But yeah, so, okay, there was nothing on page 2 that I could see that was things I got from Project Gutenberg. Okay, that was, I thought Fathers and Sons maybe, but here we go, okay. Matilda in the Cloister of Hell, oh boy. I can't pronounce that very well. I forget why I picked this up. I don't remember why, but maybe it was something that Emma recommended or something that Jenny recommended. I don't remember. But I need to look that up. That looks interesting. Agnes Grey. I think that was... You can tell by those covers. A lot of times that kind of cover, like the one for Agnes Grey, is what Project Gutenberg books look like on Kindle. So Mysteries of Udolpho. The Old Curiosity Shop. That one's one that Tiffany recommended. And I didn't get it then when she told me, but I liked the title of it. Okay, so House of the Dead. That was a really good one. I didn't know I had that on Kindle. I'm surprised. But I think that one is, I think that's one that I own, as well as Wives and Daughters. Wives and Daughters definitely was one I owned because it's really long. A lot of times I'll get, if I actually finish a long book, I'll usually have it on Kindle because library books will go back before I can read the whole thing. Okay, what else? All right, page 5. Hey, we're doing good. Maybe this won't be a too long video. Ooh, I wonder if that War and Peace one was a Project Gutenberg book. Sometimes they'll have them like free on Amazon Kindle, so some of these books might be from that. Ooh, I wonder about the Dead Souls one. That one looks like probably an Amazon one, not a Project Gutenberg one. La-di-da-di-da. Mary Barton. Oh, that was Alone. Okay. My Man Jeeves. Okay, I think that looks like a Project Gutenberg book. Cranford. That looks like a Project Gutenberg book. North and South. Something New. Was that this? No, this is a different Woodhouse one. La-di-da-di-da. The Age of Fable by Thomas Bulfinch. I went through a period where I downloaded a bunch of fairy tale type things. Unspoken Sermons by George MacDonald. Ooh, I want to read that. That sounds really interesting. Bullfinch's Mythology, The Age of Fable. The Arabian Nights, I feel like that might have been a Project Gutenberg one, but the cover makes me wonder if it's a Kindle one. I'm not entirely sure about all of them. Deerbook, that looks like Project Gutenberg. At the Back of the North Wind, The Secret. So now we're seeing a lot of these are much older. So these are from 2020. So I do go through periods where suddenly I'll just download a bunch of them. And not all of these I've read. Some of these I have read. Some of them I have not. So Secret Garden I've read. At the Back of the North Wind I've read. Deerbook I've read. The Prisoner of Zenda I have not read by Anthony Hope. The Enchanted Castle by Edith Nesbit I have not read. The Coral Island by Valentine. I haven't read that. Children of New Forest, The Carved Lions. I haven't read any of those. The Consolation of Philosophy I have read, but I read it, I think physically. I had a physical copy that I notated, but I had this ebook copy so that I could get it to read to me. That was really good. I really loved The Consolation of Philosophy. Romola, I did finish. That was tough. That was tough. Okay. So that was a heavy period, clearly. The Back Cave of Euripides. I may have read some of that, but I don't remember very well. I took a class on Greek and Roman mythology on Coursera, like a free one, so that I was looking for inspiration for my writing, and I did find it there. I found it. So I really enjoyed reading those classics. Okay, and then, so once in a while, Amazon will just make a bunch of translated fiction available. So I downloaded a bunch of translated fiction there. On the Origin of Species, I got, that looks like a Gutenberg copy. How to Tell a Story and Other Essays by Mark Twain. The Wide Wide World by Susan Warner. Where have I heard of that? That's from a book somewhere. Somewhere a book mentioned the Wide Wide World, and that's why I downloaded it. It may have been a Betsy Tacy book, now that I'm thinking about it. But no, 2019? I wasn't reading Betsy Tacy in 2019. That's too long ago. So I don't know where I found the Wide Wide World. Somewhere in my reading. The Iliad. The House of Souls by Arthur Machen. Yeah, I got a couple things by Arthur Machen. Why? Why did I want to read him? And the Lovecraft book looks like maybe as well. I remember though, I found Machen in a book somewhere. That's why I was interested in reading. Maybe I read something by him. I'm so curious. Some of these are just so old. 2018. The Metamorphosis is what I call it. Japanese fairy tales, there we go. I went through a period where I would draw things from fairy tales. I would draw inspiration from fairy tales in order to draw things. The Well at the World's End by William Morris. The Household Tales by Brothers Grimm. A lot of these, again, I have not read. Okay, so it's telling us the Amazon classics now. That's cool. So Robinson Crusoe, The Life and Adventures of Peter Wilkins, Cautionary Tales for Children, The Path to Rome by Hilaire Belloc, Moby Dick. All right, we're halfway through. We're doing good. An Essay Concerning Human Understanding by John Locke. I got 2 of those for some reason. Plutarch's Lives, Volumes 1 and 2. I wonder if they're Volumes 1 and 2 of the Locke book. Yeah. Books 1 and 2, books 3 and 4. That's why there's 2 of them. They must be long. Wow. They're probably taking up a lot of space. I do want to read Plutarch's Lives at some point. Montezuma's Daughter by Henry Rider Haggard. I have since acquired a physical book by him, but I haven't actually read it yet. Emma by Jane Austen. Waverly. I have Waverly? Oh my gosh, I need to read that. I loved the one that I read for Web Regency last year. Maybe I'll read Waverly this year. Persuasion by Jane Austen. The Surprising Adventures of Baron Munchausen. What? So random. This is also I was probably in college maybe at this point. Or maybe it was later. Maybe I was just interested in improving my mind. The Second Treatise of Government by John Locke. A Discourse upon the Origin and Foundation by Rousseau. Politics by Aristotle. I haven't read a lot of these. I've tried parts of them. Like, I've read some of Leviathan. I've read some other Aristotle, but... Okay, The Art of War. No, I think that one's not in Project Gutenberg. Okay, Adam Smith, An Inquiry into the Wealth, the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. I want to read that as well. I also have Democracy in America. I want to read both of those. I've read parts of both of them. Oh, A First Spanish Reader. I worked really hard on Spanish for a long time. So I have a book, a physical book of Spanish stories, but I obviously thought an ebook would give me a little more to read. Okay, The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner by James Hogg. Interesting. Boy, you're just seeing all the books that Kevin and I have ever read on this Kindle. Used to read a lot of science fiction and fantasy. Mansfield Park. If I thought about this more, I might have agonized a little more about showing you every book that I've ever been interested in. But I have nothing to hide. Okay. Lots of fantasy and sci-fi. It's 2015. Wow. My Kindle is old, man. Lots of samples. There's Democracy in America. I have the ebook too? What on earth? I did read some of those Sarah J. Maas books. I just wasn't that impressed. I bought like all of the Dorothy L. Sayers mysteries because I used to read them when I couldn't sleep. Before I discovered that listening to audiobooks would put me to sleep, I would read those mysteries on my Kindle. The Weight of Glory. What a great book that was. Anthem by Ayn Rand. I did go through a period of loving... what's the big famous one by Ayn Rand? I loved the love story in it, honestly, and then how it ended, I was like, that was dumb. So that ruined it, and I've never been able to reread it. And that was also my introduction to politics. I never was interested in politics until I read Ayn Rand, so I had a very libertarian period. Now I've chilled out again on politics, and I'm just like, I can't keep up with it. It's exhausting to me. I know for some people it's very exciting and they're happy to spend all their time on politics and making sure they're informed. That is not for me. Okay, The Poetical Works of Matthew Arnold. Love it. Peter and Wendy. Love it. The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. A lot of these ones that I'm talking about, I did read some of at least because I was looking for Kindle books that were relaxing once I finished all of my Lord Peter Wimsey series, and it was good to break up the mysteries with other books. And so that's why I read George MacDonald's books. I have The Princess and the Goblin and Fantastes here. Oh, I have an itch, sorry. It's on my back. Okay. Fantastes I really struggled with. The Prince and the Goblin I enjoyed more. I think I physically read that one though. But I read Fantastes on my Kindle and I remember just being really confused. The Fairy Methodology Illustrative of the Romance and Superstition of Various Countries. Okay, that's a long title. So many classics really had those. Okay, Myths and Folktales of Ireland. Anglo-Saxon Primer. I went through a period in college where one of my teachers had learned Anglo-Saxon. And I was like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do that. And he was like, you would probably have to go to school for it. And I was like, never mind. Lots of Beth Moore. I love her Bible studies. She has a Bible study on Daniel that is like fire. It's so good. The Odyssey Rendered into English Prose by Homer. Grimm's Fairy Tales. I remember drawing the cover of that. The Fortunes and Misfortunes of the Famous Mall Flanders. I read that for school. There's Rasselas. First acquired in 2013. That's what I'm talking about. I've had that for a long time. Book of Hymns for Public and Private Devotion by Samuel Johnson and Samuel Longfellow. Hiawatha. I studied Hiawatha for a paper once, but it didn't work out. I had to change my topic. Midsummer Night's Dream. I loved Shakespeare. I went through a big Shakespeare period. The Tempest, Measure for Measure, Ben-Hur, Tale of the Christ. I want to read Ben-Hur still. I think I bought Don Quixote and Madame Bovary for school. 2 more pages. We're doing good. I did go through a period of writing specifically young adult fiction. Trying to find young adult short stories was very difficult. So that's what the Sucker Literary Magazine is. It was like a young adult literary magazine. But I didn't like it. It wasn't good. Anyways, The Kingdom of God is Within You by Leo Tolstoy. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Letter to a Hindi by Graf Leo Tolstoy. Poetics in English. I did read the Poetics. The House of Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Okay, last page. Wuthering Heights, Tale of Two Cities, and that's it! Look at us! We did it! That wasn't too bad, huh? Well, thank you for coming along down this trip down memory lane. I do have some other physical books, and I was thinking I should put them in a book haul. Maybe I'll just talk about them now. Might as well, right? Okay, here we go. I actually originally put these in a vlog, but I never got that vlog put up because I suddenly had no time for editing. So Victoria got me these super... Oh no! Well, here's one of them. It's the super adorable bookmarks she got me. So this one is, I read past my bedtime, which for so long was true for me. But ever since I started taking an anti-anxiety medicine, I started being able to actually sleep at bedtime instead of having to stay up for hours and read. Okay, and here's the other one. Not meow, I'm reading. So cute, right? I love them. Okay, I found a Korean book at my thrift store, which I was like shocked about. I have no idea what it says. I barely tried to read it, but it had a lot of discussion about dad in there. So, anyways, I just remember seeing the word apology, or yeah. Okay, we got The Far Pavilions by MMK, which I'm actually listening to. It's too long, as always, but you know. I got Italo Calvino because I have another book by him as well, and I know it talks about him a lot, and I feel like maybe Tom has as well. So this is The Baron in the Trees, which is a hilarious cover. I love this cover. I think it's hilarious. So anyways, there's that. What else do we got? I don't even remember what I got. Animal Farm! Will you believe that I've never read this? I've read 1984 like 2 or 3 times, and I've still never read Animal Farm. There's something wrong with me. So I found that. I'm excited. There was a bunch of copies. Like some school must have dropped them off. As You Like It. Didn't I have this on Kindle? Whoops. Anyways, this is a really cute copy, and it's so like small. This is my kind of book right here. One that I don't have to mind beating up. Like, can you tell I have a theme? I really love small paperback classics, and I've got another one here. Nectar in the Sieve. I've never heard of this, but you know, anytime I see the Signet Classics or the Dover Classics or the Wordsworth Classics or the Penguin Classics, I just grab them because somebody thought they were good enough to call a classic. I'm such a sucker. Okay, and I got Alaska. I don't know if I'll ever actually try James Mitchell, but my mother-in-law really loved him. And so I've always kind of wanted to try. And there's your book haul. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, let me know. Have you just acquired any books recently? Let me know. And what books have you acquired for Project Gutenberg Readathon?